The drive was silent, no music, no podcast. Just the steady hum of the tires against the asphalt and the low buzz of my thoughts. I wasn't just leaving Laura. I was making sure she felt the weight of what she had done. By the time she walked back into that house, she would realize just how alone she truly was. I checked into a motel on the outskirts of town, paying in cash, no digital footprint. I didn't want her to track me down. Didn't want to deal with the theatrics and crocodile tears when she finally realized her safety net had been cut. That night, I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, I checked my phone, expecting the storm to have begun. Nothing. I frowned. She hadn't noticed yet. I gave it a few more hours, glancing at the time and wondering what she was doing. Maybe she had spent the night with him. Maybe she was still wrapped up in her fantasy, blissfully unaware that her world was crumbling beneath her. Then, at 11:32 a.m., the first text came in. Laura, hey, did you move some money around? The bank app is acting weird. A smirk played at my lips. I let her sit in that uncertainty a little longer before shutting off my phone. I wasn't ready to talk. Not yet. I had one last thing to do. I drove to the office she shared with her affair partner. I knew his name now, Adam. Over the past week, I had taken my time piecing together his information, company records, team pages, small details Laura thought she could keep hidden. Adam was exactly the type. The kind of guy who took pride in being a man's man. The type who thought he was untouchable, that he could steal another man's wife and walk away unscathed. Well-dressed, well-groomed, full of himself. Everything about him screamed smug. So, I made sure he had a surprise waiting for him. I had sent a carefully crafted email to HR. Screenshots of their messages, explicit texts, plans for meetups during work hours, and expense reports that lined up a little too perfectly with their little getaways. The kind of evidence that screamed inappropriate workplace relationship. The kind of evidence that could end a career. By Monday morning, he'd walk into his office expecting business as usual. Instead, he'd be met with a formal investigation. And Laura? She'd be drowning in panic, watching everything spiral out of her control. I turned my phone back on late that afternoon. Laura had sent over 20 messages in the past few hours, each one more frantic than the last. Laura, Nathan, where are you? Laura, we need to talk. Laura, did you take all the money? Laura, what the hell is going on? Laura, what did you send to my job? I smirked, watching her unravel in real time. I let her stew for a little longer before finally hitting dial. She answered on the first ring. Her voice was shaky, breathless, desperate. Nathan, where are you? What's happening? I stayed silent for a second, just long enough for her to feel the full weight of her panic. Then calmly I said, Morning, Laura. Don't morning me. What the hell is this? Her voice cracked with frustration. My card isn't working. The bank says the accounts are empty and... She sucked in a breath. My boss called me into HR this morning. Do you have any idea what you did? I leaned back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. Yeah, I said smoothly. I have a pretty good idea. You son of a... Careful, I interrupted, my tone cold. You really don't want to piss me off right now. She sucked in another sharp breath, trying to steady herself. Nathan. She tried again, her voice softer now, as if she thought she could coax me into reasoning with her. We need to talk about this. I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but this isn't funny. You need to come home, and we need to fix this. A low chuckle escaped me. Fix this? Yes, look, She hesitated, searching for the right words. Her tone shifted again, gentle, almost pleading. As if she thought she still had control. I know you're angry, and I get it, okay? Laura's voice wavered, desperate. I shouldn't have just dropped it on you like that, but you didn't have to go nuclear. You've made your point. Now, can we just talk? Figure something out. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see me. You really don't get it, do you? Nathan, please. No, my voice turned ice cold. Silence stretched between us, heavy and suffocating. Where are you? She finally whispered. Gone. Her breath hitched. What does that mean? It means, I said, dragging the words out deliberately, I'm done playing your game. I spent 6 months swallowing your lies while you ran around behind my back. You thought you could have it all. But guess what, Laura? I leaned forward, lowering my voice to a deadly calm. Now, you have nothing. A strangled noise escaped her, part frustration, part panic. Nathan, you can't just... I ended the call, and for good measure, I blocked her number. I had no time for her pity party. There was still one more person who needed a wake-up call. Adam, Laura's shiny new boy toy. I didn't have to dig much to get what I needed. I already knew where he worked, his position at the company, his perfect little home life. And, most importantly, I knew about his wife, Michelle. She was the missing piece, the final push to bring their carefully crafted house of lies crashing down. I composed the email carefully. Subject: Your husband Adam. Hi, Michelle. I know this will be difficult to read, but you deserve the truth. Your husband has been having an affair with my wife, Laura, for over 6 months. I've attached screenshots of their messages, proof of their meetings, and expense reports detailing their hotel stays. I thought you should know. Attachments: screenshots of explicit messages between Laura and Adam, hotel booking records under Adam's name, a time-stamped photo of the two of them, arms around each other, laughing. I hovered over the send button for just a second, then I clicked it. Tuesday morning, my phone rang. I didn't need to check the caller ID. I already knew who it was. I answered casually. Hello, you piece of... Adam's voice exploded through the speaker, thick with panic and rage. I grinned. Morning, Adam. You think this is funny? You just wrecked my damn life. Michelle won't even talk to me. She's threatening to leave, and now my boss is breathing down my neck. What the hell did you do? I shrugged, even though he couldn't see me. Sent your wife a little gift. Looks like she wasn't too thrilled to find out her loving husband was screwing someone else's wife. You don't understand, man, he spat, his disbelief turning bitter. This wasn't serious. It was just a thing. There it was. Just a thing. Not love. Not commitment. Not some great romance. Just a side piece. And Laura thought she was special. I chuckled. You might want to let Laura know how you feel about her. She was under the impression you two had something real. You, Adam seethed. I grinned wider. See, Adam, this is what happens when you play stupid games. You and stupid prizes. You think this is over, he growled. Oh no, I said smoothly. This is just getting started. I ended the call. Laura still didn't know. She didn't know that Adam was already throwing her under the bus. She didn't know Michelle had the proof. She didn't know that her perfect little fantasy was already crumbling. And the best part, I didn't have to lift another finger. This was going to be fun. Later that afternoon, I checked my phone. I wasn't disappointed. Laura had finally realized her world was caving in. Her messages had shifted from frantic to desperate. Laura, Nathan, please, we need to talk. Laura, something's wrong. Adam's not answering me. Laura, did you do something? Laura, please just call me. I could almost see her face, that slow dawning horror, as she realized something was very, very wrong. I let her wait. Instead, I made a different call. Michelle answered on the second ring. This is Michelle. I took a slow breath. Michelle, this is Nathan. We haven't met, but Oh, I know who you are. Her voice was cold, sharp. I smiled. She got my email. I just wanted to make sure you got everything. Oh, I got it, she snapped. And I've spent the last 2 hours deciding exactly what I'm going to do with it. I leaned back in my chair. So, what's the plan? A humorless laugh crackled through the line. Well, let's see. First, I called my lawyer. Divorce papers are already being drawn up. I smirked. Good. Then I made a few calls to some mutual friends, she continued. Just to make sure people really understand the kind of man Adam is. I chuckled. And now, her voice dripped with venom. Now, I'm sitting outside his office, waiting for him to come out, so I can watch the exact moment he realizes he's lost everything. I let out a low whistle. Damn. And here I thought I was good at this. Michelle exhaled. Oh no. You just handed me the bullets. I'm the one pulling the trigger. She paused for a moment before adding, Look, I don't know if this makes a difference, but thanks. I know it sounds strange, but I'd rather face the truth than live in a lie. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Yeah. A brief silence hung between us before she asked, Does Laura know yet? I chuckled. Not yet, but she will. Michelle let out a slow breath. Good. I hope she drowns in it. We ended the call. I sat back, waiting for the inevitable fallout. It didn't take long. 30 minutes later, Laura's name flashed across my screen. I picked up. You bastard, she spat, her voice trembling with rage. I smirked. Ah, so you finally put the pieces together. You ruined everything, she shrieked. Adam just told me his wife is divorcing him. She went to his boss, and now he's been fired. I grinned. Perfect. Her voice wavered. He said he won't be involved with me anymore. And there it was. Her lifeline had been severed. The man she betrayed me for had discarded her like garbage. I made a sympathetic noise. Wow, that's tough, Laura. You set me up, she whispered, her voice hollow. And I was too blind to see it. I didn't deny it. She was right. A shaky breath escaped her. Nathan, she murmured, softer this time. Can we talk? I smirked. Talk about what? She hesitated. About us. I laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, Laura, I said, shaking my head. There is no us. Her breath hitched. Click. I hung up. Her world was officially in ruins. Her bank account drained, her lover gone, her reputation in shambles. But I wasn't finished. Not yet. I wouldn't be satisfied until I saw the last remnants of her life come crashing down. I had stripped away everything, her money, her affair, Adam's career. But there was still one final lesson she needed to learn. Some things can't be undone, and for that, I needed to see her, face to face. That evening, I drove back to our house, the home where we built a life together, the same place where she used to smile at me, the same place she brought him. I wasn't angry anymore. I felt nothing. Parking down the street, I waited. At exactly 9:47 p.m., her car pulled up. She stepped out slowly, her shoulders slumped, her once perfect posture crushed under the weight of everything she'd lost. Her makeup was smeared, her hair, always pristine, was a tangled mess. For the first time, she looked small, like a woman finally waking up to the wreckage of her own choices. I climbed out of my car, walking up the driveway. She froze. Nathan, she whispered. I leaned against the doorframe, blocking her path inside. She swallowed hard. Can we talk? Sure, I said easily. But you're not coming in. Her breath hitched. Nathan, please don't do this. I crossed my arms. Do what? Exactly what you did to me. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. I know I messed up, she said, her voice raw. But we had something, you and me. We built a life together. I tilted my head, and you threw it away. I wasn't thinking, she admitted, her voice cracking. I thought I needed something different, but when Adam... She bit her lip, shaking her head. When he left me, I realized it was always supposed to be you. I raised an eyebrow. Huh, that's funny. I stepped closer, my voice dropping to a cold whisper. You didn't say that when you were lying to my face, when you were sneaking out, When you were texting him, meeting him in hotel rooms. Her lips trembled. You weren't thinking about me then, I continued. You weren't thinking about us. You were only thinking about yourself. She nodded quickly, reaching out to grip my arm. I was selfish. I see that now. I looked down at her hand, then deliberately pulled away. She flinched like I had slapped her. Nathan, she whispered. I'm not here to forgive you, I said simply. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Reaching into my jacket pocket, I pulled out a small envelope and tossed it onto the porch. She stared at it, then at me. What is this? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. Your divorce papers. Her breath caught. No, she choked out. No, Nathan, please. I turned away. It's done, I said firmly. Sign them. Send them back to my lawyer. And after that, I never want to hear from you again. A broken sob tore from her throat. She collapsed onto the porch, her shoulders shaking. I walked back to my car, but just before getting in, I glanced over my shoulder. Oh, one more thing. She lifted her head, eyes bloodshot. I put the house up for sale this morning. Her face went deathly pale. No, Nathan, you can't. It was never in your name, I said smoothly. So yeah, I can. I opened the car door. With one final glance, I added, Enjoy your new life, Laura. Then I drove away. For good.